Jet 24 Action News is your news leader.
Welcome to the Top 25 of 2025. I'm Jennifer Mobilia, and together over the next half hour, we're going to take a look back at the top 25 local stories of 2025. So let's get started. Kicking us off at number 25, the abrupt closure of Muscuzzi. On August 20th, patrons and employees were left in shock after the popular Italian restaurant closed without notice. At the time, the restaurant's owner, Michael Ferrassi, said he and his family were going through a tough time and declined to comment further. Less than a month later, in September, Ferrassi filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. According to court paperwork, his estimated liabilities were between $500,000 to $1 million. Coming in at number 24, the March 7th Meadville basketball brawl. The fight started with just over 3 minutes left in a state playoff game between Meadville Area High School and Uniontown Area High School. It began behind Meadville's bench, but quickly escalated, leading to multiple fights in the stands between fans and players on the court. Meadville Police and Pennsylvania State Police responded to the fight. The brawl led to police charging 2 Uniontown residents, along with 5 Meadville residents, including 3 16-year-olds. According to the PIAA, both teams were forced to forfeit the game and were eliminated from the playoffs. Number 23 takes us to Erie's Bayfront for the spectacular Tall Ships Festival. The event drawing thousands of people to Dobbins Landing to catch a glimpse of the 9 majestic tall ships visiting the flagship city. In addition to the tall ships, the festival also featured a 61-foot mama duck with her 10-foot baby duck. 2025 marked the 6th time Erie has hosted the Tall Ships Festival.
We are blessed with the beauty of Presque Isle and having the bay and having the lake and having the ability to hold such an event like this with so many people.
Noticeably absent this year was the U.S. brig Niagara. Erie's flagship is currently undergoing renovations in Boothbay Harbor, Maine. The Niagara is expected to be home in time for the 2026 4th of July celebration. Coming in at 22, a story Erie Otters fans will never forget. Matthew Schaefer hearing his name called first in this year's NHL draft by the New York Islanders. The defenseman from Ontario was the first Otter to be picked overall since 2015 when Connor McDavid heard his name called by the Oilers. Schaefer noticeably battled through adversity leading up to his big night. The Erie standout missed most of his final season due to an injury.
Felt good, obviously, first couple shifts you get, the jitters out, I guess, and then you roll from there. So, yeah, it was a great experience, and it was, a good first game for sure. I mean, our team is so easy to make plays with them, and everyone's in the right spots.
Now to an incredibly sad story, the death of Avery Chauncey, the founder of Avery's Positive Change. Despite her 5.5-year battle with cancer, Avery worked to create pet food pantries that helped feed over 1,000 pets a month. Avery showed remarkable strength and positivity throughout her illness, all while continuing her efforts to help feed animals. Avery went into hospice care in July. She passed in October. Avery's Positive Change continues her mission of serving pets in need. Now to a story we broke in April that could impact hundreds of jobs, local tourism, and nonprofits in the region. Is Presque Isle Downs and Casino in danger of closing?
We're concerned today about the long-term sustainability of the property.
The vice president and general manager of Presque Isle Downs and Casino warning if the state doesn't make changes to the casino regulations, the house could fold. At issue, the number of slot machines casinos are required to maintain by law, the highest gaming tax in the country, and unregulated skill games. Governor Shapiro has since proposed a 52% tax on skill games. However, no action has been taken. Now to Venango Township for number 20, the June tornado. The National Weather Service confirming an EF2 touchdown on June 9th. Wind speeds of 115 miles per hour flattened 2 barns on Noyle Road, injuring several animals. After the storm passed, nearly 100 people began helping the family clear downed trees and power lines and debris. Luckily, no humans were injured. Number 18 literally takes us to my backyard in Northeast. On June 18th, Northeast experienced flash flooding near the New York state line like the town has not seen in decades. Within minutes, our grape vineyards were under 4 to 5 feet of water, and the strength and amount of water caused a portion of Gulf Road to be completely washed away and relocated into a nearby field. Thankfully, no one was injured. Landing at 17, a dog thought to be dead fights to stay alive. On January 6th, the Anna shelter got a call about a dead dog found in a driveway. But the dog, now known as Phoenix, was close to dead. She was in a comatose state of hypothermia. Team Anna rallied.
Hey, you're okay. Stay with me, pretty.
With her fighting spirit and support from the Anna shelter, Phoenix survived. She is now living her best life with her new owner. You can follow her adventures on her Facebook page. Now to a heartbreaking discovery. The bodies of 2 elderly people are pulled from the water at the Erie Yacht Club. On September 29th, an employee of the yacht club spotted a woman's body floating by the boat slips. A little more than 2 hours later, the husband's body was found. The victims were identified as Warren and Nancy Keck. Both were 82 years old and from Greenville, Pennsylvania. Their deaths were ruled accidental. The man who stabbed author Salman Rushdie at the Chautauqua Institution back in 2022 learns his fate. It took the jury less than 2 hours to find Hadi Matar guilty. Matar, who's from New Jersey, received the maximum sentence of 25 years behind bars. The 27-year-old brutally stabbed the famous author more than a dozen times in front of a stunned crowd. Rushdie was flown to UPMC Hammett, where he spent 17 days before being transferred to a facility in New York City. During testimony, Rushdie said he still has nightmares about the attack that left him blind in one eye. Story 14 is allegations of sex trafficking out of a spa on Peach Street. Authorities say Tina Silvius, the owner of Totally You Fitness and Spa, along with her 2 children and her son-in-law, used their spa as a front to provide commercial sex. Additionally, 52 people who investigators say regularly paid for sexual services at the spa were also charged. Those investigators say since 2016, the business employed 20 to 30 people to be commercial sex workers, telling them they would be massage therapists, most of whom were targeted because they were homeless or suffering from addiction. After years of promising hundreds of jobs in one of the world's largest recycling facilities, Erie gets stood up. International Recycling Group said it was going to build a $300 million facility at the former Hammer Mill site on East Lake Road. IRG's founder claimed the recycling facility would have created 250 good-paying jobs. Despite years of promises, IRG never broke ground. The company's CEO says financial uncertainty brought on by federal funding cuts, among other reasons, led to that decision. Number 12 on our list comes from the Erie Otters, the team retiring the jersey of an Erie hockey legend. Connor McDavid returned to Erie Insurance Arena in January for the big event. McDavid is regarded as one of the best hockey players in the NHL. His success story started years ago while wearing number 97 for the Erie Otters, where he spent 3 seasons. The former Otter is now the captain of the Edmonton Oilers, making $12.5 million a year. Number 11 takes us to church and an alleged scam no one saw coming. Each year, St. Jude in Mill Creek holds a Corvette raffle. Tickets are $50, but investigators say last year's winner, Martin Anderson of Detroit, doesn't exist. According to court paperwork, Father Ross Maselli admitted the grand prize was never given to a winner. However, he says he gave smaller prizes to favored parishioners and friends. Kicking off the top 10, a massive and historic house takes a spin in downtown Erie. The old Sweet Norman house was relocated from West 7th Street to West 6th Street. The 7-hour move was part of a preservation effort in partnership with Tom Hagen's Historic Erie Preservation Trust. The Queen Anne-style home was built in 1884 and weighs about 180 tons. The home was carefully lifted, spun 180 degrees, and placed on Millionaire's Row, where Worley Hall once sat. Taking the 9th spot, state police in Meadville say a cold case murder has finally been solved. Investigators say 76-year-old Clinton Rogers of Sagertown admitted to killing his wife, Lenine Rogers, back in January of 1981. At the time, Clinton Rogers was 32 years old. He told police the couple had an argument the night of January 6th. Then the next morning, she was gone. At the time, police reported finding Lenine's purse, hearing aids, glasses, car, and car keys still at the house. Numerous searches for Lenine were conducted over the years, but her body was never found. Clinton Rogers is currently being held in the Indiana County Jail. Number 8, a new report confirms contamination from the former Erie Coke plant is migrating toward Lake Erie. In June, more than 5 years after Erie Coke closed, a groundwater report made public by the DEP indicates contamination is migrating toward Lake Erie along a majority of the more than 2,000 feet of shoreline. The DEP telling us at the time they anticipate the groundwater plumes will be one of their top priorities during cleanup. In federal court, a judge ordered the now defunct Erie Coke to pay a $700,000 fine after pleading guilty to violating the Clean Air Act. In July, it was announced the Erie Zoo was in danger of closing, sending shockwaves throughout the community. Thanks to Erie City Council voting unanimously to transfer ownership of the zoo to Erie Events, the zoo will not be closing. Council approved a resolution to transfer about 96 acres of land, including the neighboring golf course, ice rink, picnic grounds, and horseshoe courts. All of the sites, except for the ice rink, will continue to be operated by the city.
We're all breathing a little easier right now. They understand what a valuable asset we are, and it really demonstrates their willingness to collaborate with the zoo, with Erie Events.
According to the resolution, Erie Events will provide an annual payment to the zoo in the amount of $500,000. November's general election saw a few upsets and was a good night for Democrats and women in Erie County. Christina Vogel won the Erie County executive race with 62% of the vote, defeating the Republican incumbent Brenton Davis, who received 37% of the votes. In the race for Erie Mayor, Daria Devlin emerged victorious over her opponent, Matthew Thomas, becoming the first new mayor in 8 years. Devlin defeated incumbent Mayor Joe Schember by only about 400 votes in the May primary. Emily Moscow-Mursky also won the race for Erie County Judge, defeating Jeremy Leitner. Now to number 5, Sean Cranston, the man accused of killing a pregnant Amish woman in 2024, is found guilty. It took a Crawford County jury less than 3 hours to find the 53-year-old guilty in the murder of Rebecca Byler and her unborn child. The prosecution put 24 witnesses on the stand, including Rebecca's husband, who found her body 2 hours after the murder. Other witnesses included the Byler's driver, who made the 911 call, dozens of forensic experts, and a prison inmate who claimed Cranston admitted to killing the 23-year-old during a burglary. The knife and gun used to kill Rebecca were never found. During sentencing, Judge Schultz telling Cranston, quote, "You deserve every second of the sentence I will now impose on you," which was 2 life sentences. Coming in at number 4, a massive fire and explosion at the Parker Lord facility in Sagertown. The explosion happened the morning of Sunday, February 9th. Dozens of first responders rushed to the scene. At the time, company representatives told us the explosion happened during an attempt to contain an original fire. 13 people were injured, including 4 Sagertown firefighters and 4 workers with the Lord Corporation Fire Brigade. An emergency alert was broadcast to residents of Sagertown, alerting the community to shelter in place, avoid outside areas, and close all windows. The cause of that fire and explosion are still under investigation. Number 3 is a story that continued to unravel for weeks, with one shocking allegation after another. In September, former Mill Creek School District Superintendent Ian Roberts was detained by ICE agents in Iowa, where he was working as the superintendent of the Des Moines Public Schools. At the time of his arrest, ICE agents said Roberts had a loaded handgun, $3,000 cash, and a hunting knife in his car. The agency also claims Roberts had a final order of removal and no work authorization. In the days following, the Des Moines Register reported Roberts never received a doctoral degree from Morgan State University, as he claimed. According to a statement from ICE officials, Roberts had been living as a fugitive since May of 2024, when an immigration judge signed a final removal order. Coming in at number 2, Erie was over the moon for John Oliver to rebrand the Erie Seawolves as the Erie Moon Mammoths.
Go Moon Mammoths!
Thousands of people lined the streets and sidewalks Saturday afternoon outside of a completely sold-out UPMC park. The Moon Mammoths have finally arrived, and Saturday evening was the first of 4 games this year that the Seawolves will be taking on the alter ego brought to Erie by talk show host John Oliver and his team. After several minor league baseball teams applied to have Oliver's team rebrand them temporarily, the Seawolves came out as the top choice.
This is entirely for the people of Erie and this team to decide now. If they want to go back to the Seawolves, this has been fun. If they want to keep the Moon Mammoths forever, have it. If you want to just do it every now and then, it's all up to you. That's the thing. It's all out of our control. We're sending our furry child out into the world.
And based on the amount of fans at the park Saturday, it's safe to say that most of Erie has welcomed the Moon Mammoth craze with open arms.
I'm standing here in UPMC Park hours before the first pitch. There's a line out the door for the merchandise store. I was able to get mine earlier. The crowd is completely sold out, and it's a crowd that's usually covered in red and black, but tonight it's all purple.
I like the Moon Mammoths. I think it's pretty fun. It's silly. I think it would be a fun, annual thing to do.
There's so much crazy stuff you can get here. I had a purple pepperoni ball earlier. I feel like that sells it enough. But yeah, it's a fun time. I mean, everyone's having a good time with it. And John Oliver's here, so, you know.
Before the game, Mayor Joe Schember officially declared the day as Moon Mammoth Day and gave Oliver the key to the city. The rebranding was based on the original Moon Mammoth skeleton found in Lake Pleasant in 1991 by scuba diver George Moon. George Moon was at the game to catch John Oliver's first pitch.
This is really amazing. I think it's great for the Erie community, the Seawolves, and everybody around. I got friends that flew in from Florida, LA, drove up from Washington, D.C., and I saw some kids out there with a sign saying they drove 250 miles to be here for this game.
Jack Sable, Jet 24, Action News.
Now to our top story of 2025, the shooting death of Marcello Woodard. In July, the 43-year-old black man was fatally shot by a state parole agent. Nearly 6 months later, the agent was charged with homicide. Tyler Gallagher was there when the district attorney announced the charges and has our story.
July 2nd is a day Marcello Woodard's family will never forget. While sitting in a parked car, 43-year-old Woodard was shot and killed during a compliance check with state parole agents, sparking a nearly 6-month-long investigation into what happened that night. On Friday, Erie County District Attorney Elizabeth Hers formally announced charges on the state parole agent accused of fatally shooting Woodard, marking the next step in the Woodard family's fight for justice.
This morning, a criminal complaint was signed by Magisterial District Judge Paul Bizzarro, charging Pennsylvania State Parole Agent Kevin Seelinger with 1 count of criminal homicide, aggravated assault, simple assault, and recklessly endangering another person.
Hers says Seelinger turned himself into state police and is currently being held without bail. Now the case will ultimately be resolved in a courtroom through the judicial process, which she says may take some time.
Now this is East 27th Street, where Marcello Woodard was shot and killed that night over the summer. And during that night, it looked a lot different here. Caution tape all around, flashing lights, people all over the place. And so much time has passed that it's now winter. But at least the news today for Cello's family, it's a step in the right direction towards justice.
God answered my prayer. God answered my prayer. Now probably my son can rest in peace. I know it's going to be a long road.
Since Marcello's death, the Erie community has rallied together for several protests and vigils demanding justice for Cello or we won't settle. Bradley says that community support has been a big help, but in the end, it doesn't bring her son back.
It's been so terrible. I look for him to come in the door every day. I still know his cell phone number.
Bradley says her son had a heart of gold, and their next fight in bringing him justice could take them to the courtroom.
This is definitely a step in the right direction. We understand we have a long process to go. Now we're getting prepared for trial.
Tyler Gallagher, Jet 24, Action News.
And those are the top 25 stories of 2025. We hope you are just as excited as we are to kick off 2026. And as the year comes to an end, from all of us here at Jet 24, we'd like to sincerely thank you for making us Erie's news leader.